Okay, well, let's try making some snow for the first time. We are going to use the shaving gel and baking soda technique, which I was going to attribute to a particular channel, but as it turns out, there's like 20 or 30 people that have done it, so it's nothing new. But it is for me, so apparently all we need is a container. I got one with a lid, so we can, I guess, store it. And we're going to use this for the base for our helicopter build that we just did. So I guess I'm just going to start. I'm going to put some of this stuff in here. Now, the first one I saw said to use gel, and the second one I saw said they use just foam. So we'll see how this works with the gel. And if it doesn't, I'll try another batch with the foam. So I'm going to basically just sprinkle a bunch in here. I want it fairly fluffy, so I'm going to add a fair bit. I'm just going to use a fork to sort of mix this up. Okay, well, this is going to a foam anyways. I kind of figured it would, the gel. Rather blue. I don't know how much the blue is going to stay once we get going here. Well, it's like I make a blueberry foam. Let's add some more. That one more of a snow type consistency. Sure smells nice. Yeah. Smells clean. Now, I think as I keep picking up more of the powder, it should give us more of a snow-like consistency to where we can apply it. And it'll dry and harden and shape. Now the blue, I didn't really consider how much the blue was going to affect it, but I guess always paint it after to get the desired color white that we want. So the blue is a bit of a thing. Yeah, I think when I do this again, I think I will definitely use just foam. So it will be just white, because this blue is pretty pronounced. It's stained blue. It's pretty blue. Okay, now this is starting to get a good consistency, kind of like snow. Alright, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's getting more powdery, less clumpy, the more of the fine baking soda we add to it. Definitely becoming more of a snow type consistency. Opaque too. Just like real snow. Alright. Now I guess you could sift this if you wanted. Alright, well that's really actually, look at the consistency of that. That's actually looking pretty cool. Actually, with the blue, yeah, I think actually if you mix just a bit of this blue with the foam that's white with the baking soda that's white, The blue is actually kind of giving it a nice little water, like, you know, the fact that it's actually snow. Sometimes you do get that bit of a blue tint, not this much, but you know, I think I can even add a little bit more. I was liking this. I think it's I'm gonna break it up good. Fluffy first. Oops, goodness, making a mess. Neighborhood dog there. Okay, yeah, this is pretty cool. This actually looks pretty good. I don't think I'm gonna want to put it on our base yet, because I want to do some more paint to the stone and get some, you know, darker colors back in it. I threw a whitewash on it just to get sort of a base of white and grays. Well, that looks pretty darn too. That looks a lot like snow. Now if you shovel that up, pile it up, put it on top of the vehicle, that looks pretty good. Here's what we've got. That's the basic consistency. It'll pack, go smooth like snow. Yeah, and I've used the Gillette, and this stuff is blue, the shaving gel. I think a mixture, a little bit of this blue and a bit more white. I'm gonna get some foam tomorrow, and I think push the white just a little bit further with this. And I've still got lots. I've used about a half a box, I guess, of baking soda, and you saw what I used here, maybe half of that. There, it looks like, it feels like I could actually even add a bit more. To get that, I can even make this even more drier than it's going to end up being, because if I add more foam, that'll make it moisture again. Alright, well, I just thought I'd take a look and see what he looks like kind of sitting on there and how this is starting to shape up. And yeah, I mean, it's I'm going to see how it sets up. I'm going to add some detail into these rocks and sort of blend it together more. But yeah, I started sort of sculpting a bit. I got these little ridges like ice usually gets going down rock face and stuff, and trying to get it to stick. So I think maybe even applying maybe clear coat, or maybe just maybe even misting it with some PVA glue, I guess, and then sprinkling this on would help stick it right into position. But yeah, we'll see how this hardens up overnight. Okay, so here is what's left of our blue mix, which is kind of giving us a nice little powdery snow type consistency. And what I put on the base already, I've sprayed it in with a misting bottle and just some PVA. Just gonna pick these these little bits of grit out of there. PVA and some water, and I think that's just going to set it up. It's looking more like snow. So this time we've got the Gillette foam, which is white, and I'm going to use this as a base. What we've got here with this blue, this is a bit blue, and this is from the Gillette foam, and so or the Gillette gel, I should say. So let's just give this a shake, and I don't want to go too crazy. I think that's enough for what we want to do. All right, and here is our baking soda. And I'm just gonna sort of crush that up before I add it in. I'm gonna add about, looks like probably about just about half a cup, maybe. A half a cup. And I'm just going to do the same thing that we did before. Just sort of blend this together. I'm using a fork, but it's really sticky. And just going to keep blending all this together. And I think that little bit of blue in with mostly the white will give us a nice little, maybe a little over dramatic, but I think it'll actually give us a pretty realistic look once it's all put together. Alright, now we're starting to get some of that sort of fluffy type snow. It seems to be coming around faster with the foam than it was with the gel. The gel is pretty wet. I think this the foam, because it's aerated, more fluffier, so it seems to definitely be reacting with the powder. Okay, so here we're getting back to our crumbly pastry dough. Oh. I just want to kind of go bit by bit here. And this snow I want to sort of apply to the sides of the rock. This is snow that's clinging to the cliff face. Ice and snow. So probably this type of consistency here is probably what I'm looking for. I want to be able to smear it against the surface. Still rather surprised at how blue that is. Pretty good. Maybe just a little bit more baking soda into there. Mixed up. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in a smaller jar, and I'm going to mix up a batch that's just with the foam and the thing, but this is nice because it's kind of blue inside but white on top, which sort of gives you a three-dimensional sort of look to it. Yeah, it stays white on top, but as it gets deeper you can see into the blue. That's kind of a cool effect. I kind of like that. I think just a bit more our baking soda really get us into this nice snow consistency to push onto our mountain, and then we can get some of it tracked and around the tracks of our buffalo, and get some piled up around the base on our for our helicopter, and it should look pretty cool, I think, when we're done. Okay, well, let's get this mixed up, and I'm going to get applied to the mountain. I'll come back and we'll take a look and see how she looks. And here she is. Here's our completed snow from our shaving foam and our baking soda. And we overall kind of sort of succeeded and sort of didn't quite get the finish that I maybe would have really like to have gotten, but for the first attempt, I'm pretty encouraged. I could see how you could definitely sculpt it and shape it around. There's a bit of the blue still left from the gel that I used initially, which I think actually will work well in like deep or where ice would form, because it does sort of get that blue tinge. I think I should have pushed it maybe more out into this area instead of ending up with it close to the rocks, but you live and learn. It's the first attempt. I had a little bit of it crack open here, I noticed, just here in the corner, but overall not too bad. I think it's definitely something you got to work with a bit and kind of play with it here and there to really get it worked out. But to make a nice base for our helicopter and our buffalo, I thought it worked out really well. I may trim along here in future just to give this some shape so it's not square, but it does fit perfectly right in the little glass display case that I have upstairs. As far as the kits go, this is kind of, I guess, be the final assessment on what happened with the 172 scale Hobbycraft Labrador. And overall, I really enjoyed the build. It was a lot of fun. It did have some issues. There was a lot of gap issues around the canopy, and probably part of that was due to me and maybe not getting the fuselage fit together. But I did run into some troubles where the floor section was a little wider than it needed to be, and it was forcing a gap here. But other than the couple gaps filling in, and the rotors, some of the rotors are kind of bent the wrong way from the way that they have to go into the component here, the motor. And I think, yeah, maybe a heat gun, I guess maybe I could use just to sort of soften them and bend them down. But yeah, I think it was 2 of them were sort of bent the opposite way. But other than that, the canopy parts were clear. These, be very careful if you do build this kit with these windows. I popped this one in, that's what happened here. And I tried everything to reach it with a Q-tip to push it back in. The glue that I had set on the inside, it wasn't enough, and when I was picking it up and handling it, my finger pushed it in. And once it had gone in, I wasn't able to get enough pressure on it to push it back out. I couldn't get up at it from underneath, and I couldn't get in it from this door opening, so I had to substitute with some glue. Unfortunately, the glue that I used didn't clear, and it sort of stayed that sort of milky sort of look there. But as that is the rescue hatch on this side, I don't think it detracts from the model very much. So overall, I would say, yeah, for a very simple kit, there's not much to it. It does have recessed panel lines, so you can get some wash there, which was really good for us because we had troubles several times with the Tamiya panel wash and getting it removed off cleanly. But now that I understand the enamel thinner principle and how that works, which I should have picked up on probably a while ago, but I was learning a lot of different other things at the same time. So, but having that in the arsenal now, being able to do that cleanly is actually really going to improve my finish for sure. I'm really looking forward to getting into our next kit, which is right over here on the bench. So that's just a quick look at our Snow Mountain diorama, our secret base. I think I'm going to scratch build a door to go in here. I don't know whether I'm going to have it all the way closed or partially open. I think I just want to be able to see like the top of some sort of a mechanical door, steel door of some sort base just up here, and I may add a small tower with a light on top, like a radio tower, just to suggest more that this is some sort of secret sort of base going on. And we'll see what we can come up with the 3D printer and find some figures that we can put with it. So, yep, that pretty well wraps up this build, and we're getting ready to get into our next build, which is over here, and stay tuned for that, because that's going to be coming up next. And from the model student to all of you out there in YouTubia, I hope you're building, I hope you're having fun, and if you are, so carry on, and if you're not, get started, and we'll see you soon here from the model student. Cheers!